What else do we need? Well, there are authors out there. They need money for whiskey. They need something to keep them alive while they're writing. They want in advance. You give them in advance, they give you back a book. They go home. Maybe, just maybe, you put them on a bus or possibly an airplane and they go to 5 or 10 bookstores. But that's all they do. And your job as the publisher was, one, pick that guy, and it was usually a guy, pick that guy to do the book, and make sure the book gets into the stores, make sure the book gets reviewed, and then sit back and take all the credit when it works, and when it doesn't work, move on to the next title. And in exchange, you get to keep 80 or 90% of the money comes in, and that's a totally fair deal, because you're taking a significant amount of risk, it takes a really long time, and we can't live without you. That's what publishers did. They did something we couldn't live without. Now, we move forward and we say, wait a minute. There is no scarcity. We have infinite shelf space. Amazon will carry every book, thank you very much. Anyone with an internet connection anywhere in the world can buy any book in print with 3 clicks. Getting shelf space is not particularly hard. A 12-year-old can get as much shelf space in Amazon as your best salesperson. Number 2, the number of people who think they can write a book is huge. Right? And you guys were wrong a lot. How many of your publishing houses turned down The Joy of Cooking? How many of them turned down The Art of French Cooking? I mean, I read Julia Child got turned down and turned down and turned down and turned down. It's not like there were geniuses picking these books. There were people who had good leverage and were sort of lucky and pretty good at it, but they weren't amazing. So now there are all these people who all of a sudden have typesetting machines at home, called Mac, or even a PC, and they can write anything they want. They can get it illustrated, and now they have a book. They don't need you to anoint them because the reader has never heard of Knopf. It doesn't mean anything to them. If shelf space doesn't matter, if anyone can get a book printed, if print on demand is the future, if word spreading not because you know somebody, the New York Times book review, but word spreading because one blog posted, another blog posted, it gets tweeted and someone can talk about it, then what exactly is your model doing that we can't live without? And the answer, I got to tell you, is nothing. Let's take cookbooks as a simple example. How many major publishers have generated home run cookbooks that haven't been connected to a TV chef in the last few years? I can get any recipe ever online for free in 2 seconds. I don't need cookbooks for recipes anymore. People buy cookbooks because they're a souvenir, they're dreamscapes, they're something that I can have on the shelf that makes me feel good. And when Emerald shows up or Rachel shows up, all you are is a service business. They don't care which publisher, they're the one who's going to make it sell. They have a platform. And it's not because of you. You don't have to like this, it's just true. So then the Kindle shows up, and now it's not just infinite shelf space on Amazon, it's infinite shelf space in my briefcase. Who wins in that transaction? Well, I win because I get the reader, because I get the book for half price in 4 seconds. And I can read the first chapter for free. A whole bunch of good things happen from the user's point of view. What about the author? Well, if the pricing is structured properly, the author can win, because now, and we have data on this, people who have a Kindle buy way more books than people who don't have a Kindle. So more books is good for the author. Amazon wins, and we're going to talk about why in a minute, largely because they're building an asset for the future, platform. And what about you guys? You guys aren't winning, and the reason you're not winning is because you're sitting there watching, in some cases arguing, in some cases passively going along, but you're not winning because you're not building a new asset. There's no value add. Once Amazon knows every single person who reads Civil War fiction, and someone comes along who wants to write Civil War fiction, tell me again what you do. It's hard for me to understand what you do in the current trajectory. But there's these opportunities here that are huge. You know, if I can build all by myself in my spare time a base of people as big as there are who follow what I do, what would have happened if some professionals had done it? It would have been huge. Would I have been willing to share? Of course. But I have never found a publisher that thought about it or wanted to do it. So I have to do it myself. There are plenty of people who aren't as crazy as me who aren't doing it themselves. They're just waiting for someone like you to come along and teach them and show them and work with them and figure out these multiple streams of income and attention that turn that author's work into an idea that spreads. So if I think about what is it that publishers do for a living, it's not chop down trees. It's not argue with the people at the tattered cover to get 3 more books so you get a little bit more shelf space. It's not get me on the Charlie Rose show. Because guess what? Boing Boing, the blog, reaches more people every day than Charlie Rose, the TV show, does. And Boing Boing is going like this, and Charlie Rose is not. Add to that blogs on every single topic. Add to that lists and groups and circles and subscribers and tribes and Twitter fans, and that's where it's all happening. But it's not because of a gatekeeper that responds to an aggressive PR person. It's because authors and the people who work with them are figuring out how to build these circles of influence, these platforms, these tribes that people want to join and connect with. And that is going to be the future of book publishing. Right? So if I was going to give you a list, I think I wrote it down over here. Let me see. The first one, which I've been talking about since 1999, so you're 10 years of lost opportunity here, is permission. Permission to talk to readers who want to be talked to. Simple example, the Spencer novels. Spencer novels come out once a year, give or take. They're detective novels, and they tend to get bought by the same million people. Okay, does the publisher know who the million people are? No. In fact, every single time they come out, they have to go back to the usual suspects, back to Janet Maslin, or back to some other publicity place to alert that same group of people that the new book is ready and they should go in their car to the store and buy it. What would have happened if 10 years ago they had started putting in the back of every single book they sell for free a page that says, drop us an email and we'll send you the chapter of the next book for free. We'll send you some of Spencer's favorite recipes for free. Every month, you'll get a short story by Parker. If they had done that, and only 100 people a day who had read it had sent that email, that's 36,000 people a year, 360,000 people at the end of a decade. So now, when a new book is ready to come out, you press one button and 360,000 people get an anticipated, personal, and relevant message they want to get about a novel they're interested in, and they buy it with one click. Who wins? Well, everyone. But certainly the author wins because a whole bunch of people who missed his last 2 books because they didn't remember to check now buy it. The publisher wins because they did all the work of building that list, so they get to control it. The bookstore you choose that you anoint because you're powerful wins because you send the orders there. Let them bid against each other for the privilege. That is an asset that you built. Permission. The privilege of delivering anticipated, personal, and relevant messages to the people who want to get them.